Hello everyone and welcome back to Java Forever course. Currently we are learning for loop, which is a definite loop. In yesterday's class we looked into the syntax of for loop and how to write a for loop using an initializer, how to build a condition, how to increment the value and all of that part. Today we will dig a little bit deeper into it and understand what really happens when we say how does the incrementer work specifically. Now I'm taking a simple example where looking at the code you should be able to tell that this code starts with 5, goes up to less than 6, and we are incrementing the value by 1. So we are starting with number 5 and we are saying go up to 6 but not including 6, and increment the value by 1, which next value will become 6, which is tricky to understand because we are in fact starting with 5 and we are saying don't go up to 6. Go increase the value by 1 but stay below 6 because this is I less than 6. What does it really mean is this loop will execute only once, and anytime you take a look, try to understand what the code does and also try to understand how many times the loop executes. And if you draw a trace table, this becomes super easy. But let me first show you without drawing a trace table. When I say I equal to 5, the value, the initializer I equal to 5 will execute only once. It is as if you wrote it outside this loop. So think of this as int I equal to 5 and then you are writing for and you are writing I less than 6 like this, and I'm going to talk about I plus plus. This is how it is. So this initializer, this code execute only once. The code inside this is executing multiple times, but the initializer, the initial value of I set only once, and then job of I equal to 5 is done. That is why, just to show you, I wrote it outside. Read like this, that I equal to I plus 5, this code executes and it is done. The processor is not going back here. Processor is going to go forward down or repeat here. That's the significance of initializer. It's an counter, and that counter initial value is set only once, and that is why even though we wrote for and inside the parenthesis, this code will execute exactly once. The second part, I is less than 6, will execute every time. Every time you go and run this code, come back, you are going to check the condition and decide should I continue or should I not, and should I get out. So this will execute every time. And third line, I plus plus, will execute every time, but it will execute at the end here. Think of this again as you have written I equal to int I equal to 5 for, and you wrote I less than 6, a block, and whatever you wrote here, print statement, some calculation, I equal to I plus 1. This is how the code or the for loop is executed in the processor. After processing all these statements, at the end it goes and increase the value by 1 and goes back and checks again, now is I less than 6 or not, and answer is still true, then it will go and again run your code, and virtually it will insert this line at the end. So this line I equal to I plus 1, or I can say I can decrement the number. It doesn't have to be always increased. Suppose I want to print a number from 100 to 1 in reverse order. You want to start with I equal to 100 and you want to decrease the value by I equal to 1. And in this case you want to check if I is still greater than or equal to 0, or greater than or equal to 1, because I want to print up to 1, not 0. So I'll say greater than equal to 1. So when I'm printing in the reverse order, I'll start with 100 and every time I'll decrease the value by 1, and my condition is going to be I greater than equal to 1. So, but the core logic or core point remains the same. that the last part, the incrementer or decrementer, will always be at the bottom. Java or process, will insert that line virtually at the end here. So even though you wrote the line at the top, actually it will insert it here as the last line of the block. And that's very important to understand. So this pretty much covers the concepts, the logic, but then as I said, it looks simple once you understand it. The key thing is implementation. What should go inside the for loop, how you should do for loop and all that part. Now, if you draw a trace table, I want to emphasize that part too. The trace table becomes another important, important tool similar to flowchart. When you are solving a question like this, you will do the same thing. You will draw a table, and then you write your, statements here. Here, in the first case, it is I equal to 5. You want to write your remarks here that this is my initializer. Later, you can skip remarks and you can say the value of I. If there is one more value, you want to track value of j also. Suppose every variable you have to track and see how value is changing in each statement. And at the end, you can say whether it is iteration 1, iteration 2, and whatever. Since I don't have anything, I'm going to use this for iteration. And in the first iteration, this is my first iteration, I is still 5, I is going to print, and I equal to 5, I will become 5. In this statement, the first time when I'm printing system.out.println, print line, this is my printing. The value of I did not change. It will print 5. Maybe I can insert one more and say output, and this will print 5 here. Then in the next statement, it will change to, then it will go back and check if I will become I will become 6, and condition will check is 6 less than 6. Answer is no, and it will get out. So it will print only once. Okay, that's all in today's class. I'll see you guys again in the next class. Go ahead and practice and master this skill. Thank you.
Thanks for watching. Do subscribe and press the bell icon for more videos.